The Cursed Princess, Episode 2. The Naming Without Drums. 7 days passed since Princess Amaraki was born. In a Muniora kingdom, a royal child's naming ceremony is usually a celebration of pride. Drums would beat from dawn till dusk. Children would wear white wrappers. The palace square would fill with dancers, flute players, and elders offering kola nut to the spirits. But for Amarachi, there was no sound. The king had ordered silence. No drums, no praise singers. Not even the town crier announced the event. Instead, only a few select elders gathered at the palace shrine. They sat on carved wooden stools dressed in white wrappers and red coral beads. Chalk marks covered their faces, showing reverence to the ancestors. Queen Ifunanya, still weak from childbirth, sat beside her child. Amarachi lay on a woven mat, her tiny hands clenched, her eyes closed. "She looks peaceful," one elder said. Another shook his head. "Until her eyes open." Eze and Kemakonam stood behind them in full ceremonial attire. His lion-embossed red isiagu, eagle feather in his red cap, and his father's ofo in hand. But his face was not one of joy. The Dibia stepped forward with a gourd of water mixed with bitter leaf and chalk. He sprinkled it on the ground and whispered an ancient prayer. "Let the land accept her. Let the spirits see her. Let the truth rise when it must." Then he knelt beside the child and asked the question, "What name shall this child bear?" The king's voice echoed, "Amarachi, for even when the gods are silent, their mercy is present." Suddenly, the baby's eyes opened. They glowed. Not bright, not long, but enough for the oldest elder to gasp. "She carries something," he muttered. "A burden that doesn't belong to her." Queen Ifunanya clutched her daughter protectively. "She is just a child." But the Dibia turned to her slowly. "She is not just anything. She is tied to the past. A wound must have been opened for her spirit to come this way." Far from the palace, Lolomaku was seated outside her mud hut, pounding bitter cola in a wooden mortar. Her skin was dark as the soil. Her head was wrapped in red cloth. A carved stool sat beside her, holding a small clay pot filled with ash and feathers. She paused, smiled. "I hear no drums," she whispered. "Not even for the king's only daughter." That's how it starts, fear. Silence, shame. She lifted a small calabash, blew powder into the wind, and said, "Let her grow in confusion. Let them hide her gift until it destroys them." Back in the palace, a palm tree branch snapped without warning. A crow flew over the roof and dropped a feather near the baby's mat. The elders looked at one another. "That's not ordinary," one of them whispered. The Dibia picked up the feather and placed it on the OG tree stump beside the shrine. "The land has accepted her," he said at last. "But it is watching." And with that, the naming was over. Quietly, without joy, the guards carried the drums back into storage. The flutist walked home with silent lips. And little Amarachi slept soundly, unaware that her name had been sealed, not just in tradition but in fate.